Hi, Clutter Fairy fans. Welcome to the Clutter Fairy Weekly for November 17th, 2020. I'm your co-host, Ed Gumnick, and I'm speaking with Gayle Goddard, professional organizer and owner of the Clutter Fairy in Houston, Texas.
Hi, everybody. The Clutter Fairy Weekly is our weekly webcast and podcast where we talk about all things organizing, and we follow those topics that you find interesting and ask questions about in all our social media channels. So thanks for helping us out. We appreciate that you do that every week.
If you're joining us in the Zoom meeting for the first time, you can share your comments and questions via the chat, and I'll try to make sure Gayle addresses them before we move on to another topic. You can also use the raise hand feature to let me know that you'd like to ask a question or make a comment yourself via audio or video. We're streaming the webcast live on Facebook, so you can also share your questions and suggestions and comments there, and I'll relay them to Gayle. And during the live webcast every Tuesday, you can talk to us directly by calling 669-900-6833. Use meeting ID 993-419-863 and password clutter to join the meeting. Okay, let's get to our topic because we have a lot to talk about. The holiday season is coming up, and the holiday season means many things to different people. Sacred traditions and brand new toys, family and fun, carols and candles, delicious food and gratitude, shining lights and festive spirits. But for many of us, it also means added stress and burden as we tend to overcommit our time, overspend our budgets, if we even had budgets, and overwhelm our homes with a fresh batch of clutter. And this year, we're facing even more challenges than usual as the holidays roll around. In this pandemic year, many families are dealing with grief, worry, joblessness, and shrinking resources. Many people face difficult and scary choices between protecting ourselves from the spreading virus, trying to sustain our hope and sense of wonder, celebrating our beloved traditions, juggling tight budgets, and feeling the joy of gathering our families close to us.
The fall and winter seasons, when many cultures and religions celebrate holidays of peace, hope, and light, love, gratitude, and renewal, can be a mixed bag for people who struggle with busy lives and cluttered homes. Even in the best of times, the traffic and the noise, the crowded stores, the sense of obligation, and the packed calendar can drain the joy and the magic from our experience of this time of wonder. Let's start by talking about the challenges of the normal holiday season, and then we'll try to tackle this year's news twists and turns at the same time. A lot of what we love about the holidays comes from the sense of connection to our childhood experiences and the traditions that we grew up with. I've said before that the source of your childhood experience of wonder, magic, and holiday cheer was usually an adult in your life making it happen. Your parents, grandparents, your teachers, and the church volunteers did a bunch of work in the middle of their busy lives to create a magical time for you as a child. For those of you who have children, you've probably taken over this job from your parents, but every adult comes to realize at some point that magic takes work, and a lot of it. The visual wonderland takes time. The perfect gift requires hunting and gathering and wrapping. The special food takes long sessions in the grocery store and in the kitchen. And preparing your home for house guests and parties means serious house cleaning. All that work adds hours to your days during a time when you're meant to pause and reflect and experience peace on earth towards good people of goodwill. It's hard to feel peaceful when your to-do list just tripled in length. So I'd like to suggest ways for you to lighten your load and hopefully brighten your life by focusing your holiday preparations on what makes this season special to you. Before you start thinking about gift shopping or putting up decorations, addressing those envelopes and planning the menus, making all your social commitments or not, take a moment to contemplate the heart of the holidays that you celebrate. I know that our Clutter Fairy community includes people of many religious traditions and people with no religion. So this list is only a starting point to help you reflect on what the holiday season means to you and your family. Let's talk about ways we can narrow down our plans to maximize the joy and minimize the stress of the holiday season. So first off, let's talk about your family's sacred rituals. If your season is all about your spiritual traditions, then concentrate your planning on your family's participation in those rituals, like religious services, plays, readings, and concerts provided by your religious venue. If your spiritual community isn't planning an event that you can attend remotely, You can look around online for opportunities to gather safely with other groups and perhaps visit somebody who is doing something remote and safe for you this year. This is a season of renewal, of course, and the shortening days and the approach of the new year can signify a time for self-examination, an opportunity to start anew. Pause to think about what went well this year, if anything. What could be different in the next? It is 2020 after all. This is an ideal time to clear away psychic clutter that gets in your way. Set some new goals or renew your commitment to the old ones. It may be that you prefer to contemplate your life and reflect on planning for the new year over lots of interactive celebrations. Make space for this process if it's valuable for you. And you can do all that interactive celebration work in a safe way over Zoom, on the telephone, however you need to, and FaceTime, however you need to do it to feel safe. Family gatherings are important this year. When the holiday means all of the family getting together, plan a group meal or caroling or volunteering or movie watching. Make your plans be about shared events for the whole clan. My family loves shared events around meals. Gathering around my sister's table with everyone sitting down to a big meal that my brother-in-law cooked is our preferred way to celebrate anything. This works for us because Don likes to cook a lot and he sees the holiday meals as an opportunity to try new recipes and have fun cooking something complicated while he's off of work. And we all benefit from his joy of cooking. But in the year of COVID, maybe you're not having the usual family gathering at all, neither are we. So then you can concentrate on modifying your gatherings to make them enjoyable and socially distanced at the same time. For instance, if no one is traveling this year and the clan will join each other over Zoom, then you can concentrate on the Zoom background. Focus your decorations on the wall behind your computer setup. You can plan to have a watch party of a holiday movie together over Zoom. You can agree on a simple menu that everybody will cook and eat together over Zoom. We'll have to be inventive, but we can modify anything to be COVID safe, I think. It's certainly a time for giving this time of year, and supporting a charity is a long-standing holiday tradition. This is especially true this year with so many in our communities drastically affected by these income earning interruptions. So if your family is past the kids always want more gift stage, you can suggest donating some of the gift budget to a family in need. The grown-ups could ask for gifts to charity instead of more stuff. The family could volunteer together on a project, giving back one day instead of more shopping. During COVID, maybe a volunteer project that's happening outside where everybody can wear masks would be good. A food drive comes to mind where people are driving food to a central location to drop it off, and workers are outside receiving and then wearing masks would be a good volunteer COVID alternative, whether you're somebody that volunteers to receive food or you are going to drive through and drop off. The holidays are definitely a time for music and memories, and I love singing Christmas hymns in 4-part harmony at midnight mass with my family of singers. Now that mom has passed, it's a lovely memory for me. Whether it's gathering around a piano to sing, going to a seasonal concert, or heading out to carol in the neighborhood, you want to make sure to share music in a way that feels special to your family and creates good memories. Of course, in the year of COVID, singing is a super spreader event, so live singing is out. But you can still watch recorded concerts on TV or sing together over Zoom. It may not be the best you've ever sounded, but it'll still be family together, singing and sharing music together. Now think about your holiday routines, shopping and gift wrapping, decorating, travel, guests and parties. Ask yourself if habitual activities are worth the time, effort, and resources they require. Give up the things you keep doing just because you always do them. Check out what you normally plan and ask yourself if you even like doing it. This year in particular, you need to filter these activities and modify them to keep yourself and your family safe. So parties come off the list this year. Travel is suspect also. Shopping can be shifted to more online or more targeted trips while you're wearing a mask. This year is the perfect time to evaluate all you normally do and decide if it's really needed and worth modifying, because nobody's doing exactly what they do normally. Everybody's doing something different. And now is the perfect time, while it's all shaken up, to reevaluate everything you used to do and see if it needs to keep being on the list of your traditions. When you've taken the time to contemplate what the holidays really mean to you and what you want them to be about, you may find it easier to let go of any holiday habits that you keep doing only because you've always done them, and allow your traditions to evolve and collect joyful memories instead of more stuff. I know it's easier to do it as an adult instead of as a little kid, but still. When we've talked about this topic before, we've received a lot of emails and comments in response. And one meetup member talked about how she reduced her kitchen gadgets and her cooking time by rethinking what the holiday meal had to be. Her grown kids had trouble committing to a specific arrival time because of their work schedules. So she holds an open house on Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. She goes for a sliced turkey from the favorite family barbecue joint the day before. She buys their sides. She makes some doctored stovetop stuffing, and everybody's happy. She noted the side benefit of everyone coming in staggered arrivals at different times. She can talk to each of them for a longer time and have more in-depth conversations. It has reduced her stress level and workload, and the family gets improved together time because of it. This is an example of how you can radically modify what you do and get some excellent benefit from it. Now, I'm presuming that this year, this person may be doing that slightly differently, but if there's a certain number of families and they can socially gather in the house in a safe way, then she can probably maintain some version of this tradition. Another person sent an email lamenting how she had been decluttering for some time now and doesn't want to receive any more gifts. She's asked for consumables or experiences, and yet still her family gives her stuff. She's frustrated about it and has taken to giving gifts back to them after a little while, and still they do it. She's having trouble managing her family's expectations of what she wants and needs for a gift. So I suggested that she send a very specific gift list this year and publish it now, and tell them exactly what to buy with links and the colors you want, etc. Maybe you want a fruit delivery each month, or tickets to a play, or donations to a charity in your name. If your family is resisting change, send them a very specific list of things to buy that meet with your approval. Even grandkids can shop from a list, and the family can coordinate who's buying what. When you get something from the list as a gift, you can be properly enthusiastic. This is exactly what I wanted. Thank you so much. And perhaps you'll get a more manageable gift stash this year. If you go through the effort of creating a list like this, and even if you get some of your stuff off the list and they still give you a little bit more, you still reduce the volume. And that's the trend that you're aiming for, is less stuff coming in the house. And so you can facilitate that change by giving them a starting point, a list of things to follow along. And you'll be really happy that you went to the trouble, because you will get some of the things off the list for people that don't want to have to think about it too hard and they want the shopping to be fast, fast, fast. If they can click a link and go, you're good. Okay. Who wants to talk about holiday shopping?
Catherine said they're having a Zoom Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, that's nice.
You want to tell us about that? Tell us details, Catherine?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it was my sister's wonderful idea. She loves hosting in her home. She has a wonderful home to host, in which to host. And she just contacted everybody that normally comes and said, hey, let's still have Thanksgiving together. We could do it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You know, everybody, it doesn't even have to be the same day, whatever works for people. And we can just pick a time. We'll log on to the same link. We'll enjoy, we can show everybody like what we have, the fixings. We didn't think about having the same thing. And I have kids that have dietary issues. So we generally bring things that other people just will not eat. And
Yeah.
so that's the plan, is simply to get together during certain hours. And I'm sure there's going to be a group that gets together, has the watch party for football if that's on. And so, we're just playing it by ear so that we can still have a gathering, even if it is remotely.
That's awesome, though. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I love the idea that, with a Zoom meal, everybody can fix the meal that they're able to eat without restriction, and you can cook exactly what you want and have it exactly the way that you want it, and everybody gets to eat and be happy what they want. And you still get to have conversation and talk. The reason I said everybody making the same thing is just that I've seen people talking about having dinner parties where they send out the recipe and everybody cooks the same thing, and then they sit down together and they're eating the same meal, and it enhances the feel of still eating together. Mm-hmm. But I think that, at Thanksgiving, everybody has like my stepmother likes a particular kind of stuffing and we like a different kind. So we have to make two. And so this year, everybody gets to only make what they want, right? And so that's awesome. That's a great idea.
And there's also the possibility, I've seen it on some accounts where you can go into rooms so that if somebody wants to have a private conversation and still be with everybody else, so to speak, that they can go off to a room for a little bit or just join in the central conversation.
That's really awesome. Yeah, Zoom. And I know that Zoom, I just saw posted that they're releasing their time limits on the free accounts from like Wednesday at midnight all the way through the following day at midnight, I think, or maybe part of Friday or something. So they're going to go for a long, like most of a day or and some more time where you can just be on for as long as you want to be on, regardless of the type of account that you have. So that means it doesn't have to be limited to the 45 minutes, right? So everybody's going to be able to get on Thanksgiving Day and be on for hours if they want to be, and it won't matter. So
you can kind of come and go in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and they're, because they normally charge for that extra time, but they're making the exception over the Thanksgiving Day so that everybody can get on and be on for as long as they want with their family, which is fabulous. And I'm sure they'll reannounce it at Christmas time, right? Like they'll do it another time slot in and around Christmas Day. And that's, that's super special, right? And if you're not celebrating Christmas, if you're celebrating another holiday, then, you can just sort of co-opt those days to plan your event when the time is free on Zoom, so that your family can still get together and, and spend your time together talking without being charged, which is awesome.
Diana says, loving the Zoom Thanksgiving idea. I'll have to see if my tech challenged family can all set it up. That is the challenge.
But, it is very, if you can just get everybody to get the app downloaded on their computer, then the person that is, tech savvy can send a link that has all the stuff embedded in it, and then they just click the button and they get themselves into the meeting. And so there is a few, if they've never been on, I know we all have aging parents and grandparents. They're like, Zoom, what are you talking about? And it may be that like Ed took one to his parents and he pre-downloaded the app and took it over to his dad and dropped it off on the porch, and they sort of made it work with dad not being super savvy,
with mixed results.
Yeah. But we did see them on there, and they chatted, and it was hilarious to listen to the dad like, well, wait, I can't see their faces. It's that hilarious grandparents experience Zoom for the first time conversation.
Who's that talking?
Right? They don't understand the concept of gallery view and things like that, and so it's a little entertaining, but it can be happening. And if you have hours and hours to help them, then it doesn't matter however long it takes them to figure it out.
Lise said, we're planning doing a food exchange with family for Thanksgiving dinner, dropping off at porch.
That's a great idea. So everybody's going to make stuff and send food around and leave it on the front porch. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to share. Well, and so then you make, you make individual servings of things instead of one big pie. You're going to send pieces of pie around to everybody so that everybody gets some of the pie. That's a great idea.
Now, we're fortunate to be able to do a sort of scaled back in-person event, and we're hoping the weather will hold up. In Chattanooga in November, it's
Yeah.
usually still pretty nice, comfortable, cool,
Pretty
not
decent, yeah.
yeah. But we don't want to try to we don't want to have to worry about whether the weather will be suitable for my 90-year-old parents to get out in it.
Yeah,
So we're not going to include them, and they're okay with that. Their retirement community is planning something,
Right.
with I think several seatings of people in the dining room, socially distanced.
Right.
Anita
But you guys are
says
going to sit in Beth's porch probably.
we'll be outside. Yeah, we're going to be on the deck. She has a huge deck.
Oh,
and
right.
there will just be just really two households, because Jane, one sister and her husband are staying with another sister and her husband. Their RV is parked in the backyard.
So it'll be the
So
six
it's
of y'all.
really just the six of us, and we're
A lot of
also
dogs.
all getting tested. We're also all getting tested very regularly. So we're sort of one extended household.
You're right. Cool.
Anita says, my vegetarian friend always brings a dish that she can eat, which is always left over. So this year we will Zoom together. She's bringing homemade cookies that I love, and I will drop off an appetizer that I know she likes and eats every year.
Oh,
And
see, that's super special.
Joyce says, already planning a Zoom Thanksgiving meeting with friends who can't celebrate with their families this year.
Yeah, because normally I go down the street because I live really close to Ed's other sister Ann, and normally I go down the street, but I know she's not having. She normally has like 16 or 20 people for Thanksgiving dinner, but she's not doing that this year. So we're having Thanksgiving at home, and we're all having to modify our things.
Connie says, I like to give family and friends consumables. This year, like the past 3, I make cookies.
That's very kind.
And Anita also pointed out FaceTime calls are a good substitute for those who can't deal with Zoom. That I found that to be true. My parents had an easier time with that.
With Facebook? I mean, FaceTime. Yeah.
It's just a little bit easier. It behaves more like a phone call, and so the device rings and they press the button to answer, and there's less complexity to the interface too.
Yeah. Well, and even if that's true, you could have somebody Zoom, FaceTime on an iPad, and you can, prop the iPad up in the back of a Zoom, so they can still be on the Zoom even if they're talking in FaceTime. Somebody can receive their FaceTime and prop the iPad up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys will figure it out. There'll be a way to make it happen, and it's just a matter of being, extra creative. And this is a perfect time. All things have been disrupted, and one of the big changes that's happened this year is that, so many people got kicked to working from home that had never done it before, and companies that have been avoiding having all their people be working remotely are now almost 100% working remotely, and they're like, oh, well, we did survive that change. Like, this forced them to make a big shift in how they do their business, and we can do the same thing with your holiday traditions. This is the COVID version of it this year, but what I'm talking about in terms of impacting your own sanity is, examining and doing differently all those things that you just do out of habit and have been doing out of habit. What's the matter?
I lost you for a little bit. I don't know if everyone did.
Oh.
It may just be me.
It may just be you. Okay.
Yeah.
This isn't exactly, doesn't just apply to Thanksgiving or Christmas or another holiday. One of my daughters decided to go on vacation with several friends that she has. And they flew out to North Carolina and stayed at a beach house. Now, this was over the summer. And what they did was they all made an agreement of what they would do. They would all quarantine ahead of going. They would all have a test. They would all have to submit the results of the test online. They agreed on where to meet, and everybody would pitch money in for the location and for the food. And this was ahead of time to reserve the place. And if someone got sick and could not attend, they would just lose out. They would lose the money. It would be forfeited. And everybody went. There was one person that drove everybody from the airport to the house. The one person driving to the house was given a list of food items to pick up. And then they stayed just at the house. It had a little private beach. And they spent like about 10 days there and really enjoyed their time
isn't
together.
That lovely?
Nobody got sick. Nobody lost out. Nobody forfeited their place because everybody passed their COVID test. And then after going back, they all agreed to quarantine, take another COVID test, and submit the results like about 2.5 weeks after arriving back. And taking another test about 2.5 weeks later so that everybody could verify everybody's clear and nobody had been exposed. And it worked out beautifully. They're planning another one.
That's awesome. And sure, that's a lot of hoops to go through, but if it's the way that you can prevent and make sure that you're not transmitting and creating a spreader event by gathering, then awesome. And everybody has to be willing to comply. And it sounds like everybody did. And that really is lovely. And I like the, bring your own food, commit to being in the house, and then nobody's going out and getting exposed anywhere. They show up clean, they stay together, and they don't expose themselves anything while they're there. And you get to have your little capsule event without additional exposure. And that's wonderful. Anything that gives you a little bit of a break that is still safe, love it, love it, love it.
Someone on Facebook mentioned make sure to mask and take precautions during food prep, and I think that was addressed to me. We actually do our prep all separately, and so
they're not cooking together.
Yeah, we try to avoid even going in the house. We spend all our time on the deck or in the backyard around the fire pit, and only run inside to use the facilities
and run back
one at a time and as little as we can manage.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful.
Let's go on. Connie says, for me it is important to put up lights, and that is not affected by COVID. I hope people across the way from me can enjoy this.
Right? Like you can go around your house and do all your outdoor decorations and do that pretty safely, right? And that's a nice thing to do. And the tradition that everybody has of driving through the lights in the neighborhoods to view the holiday lights, that's perfectly safe thing to do. And regardless of the weather, you can be in the car and with your safe bubble family and go view the lights. And even if you have to, like if Ed was going to do that, Ed and Jaime could go in a car, Beth and Rich can go in their car, and you guys can trail together and talk on the phone while you're doing it. And, it can be something that you can do really pretty safely, and that would be wonderful. In North Carolina, they have a tradition where they make these chicken wire balls that covered in lights, and then they have like a potato shooter that shoots them way up in the trees, and so they have hanging all these sort of extra large Christmas balls lights hanging all over all these really tall trees. And there's a particular neighborhood in Greensboro where we go driving through every year, and it's just a spectacular amount of lights. It's just completely overwhelming. It's very beautiful to go and look at. And so there's a constant car parade through that neighborhood, and every big city has their version of where the car parade happens, right? So that's a safe activity for the family to still do.
My own favorite personal tradition is unaffected, and that is I reread A Christmas Carol every year.
Of course you do.
Of
Right.
course I do, because I'm a reader. And I think it's one of the greatest books ever written in the English language. It's such a sweet story, and it's short. It's a tiny little book, so I think I probably blow through it in about an hour and a half. Because it's not very long, and it helps that I've read it 1,000 times before.
Right. It's
But
very
that
familiar
really,
at this point.
it puts me in the spirit, and it reminds me what it's really all about, and it's a very satisfying distraction from whatever the troubles are in any given season, because no year is ever perfect. Diana says, my mother-in-law plans on doing drop-offs. She's missing the kiddos so bad. Good idea on setting it up on Zoom beforehand. I think my side of the family will still get together. They're a bit stubborn with the distancing.
Oh, all right. Well, crossing our fingers for you.
Yeah. And Deborah said, being tech savvy, she had a Zoom class today with 10-year-olds, and someone asked if I could lend him glue because I can send that through his laptop. LOL.
Oh, that's so funny. I need some glue, Grandma. Oh, that's super cute.
Deborah also commented, I have had Connie's cookies and they're delish.
Oh, there you go. See, we need some of those cookies, man.
Right?
Well, we are just hoping that you can. I mean, you've been doing it all year long. Everybody's been modifying their interactions and doing things differently. And here we are at the holiday season, and it's in the United States, it's the trifecta of Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and really New Year's too. And we're all going to have to be super careful that we don't expose our family during this time. And so anything that you can do to make that work for your family and have everybody stay safe is awesome.
Is that Connie from Houston?
No, Connie is in Vienna.
Oh.
That Connie, yeah.
Yeah, see, I always watch a Charlie Brown Christmas too. That's one of my TV favorites is the Charlie Brown Christmas.
I don't think you're going to be able to unless you have Apple TV or somebody bought the rights to Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and Christmas, and unless you have, I think it was Apple or somebody. Wow. Yeah.
We'll have to be on the lookout.
Yeah. Lise says, the past couple of years with regards to purchasing gifts for certain family members, we've been giving grocery gift cards. I always thought gift cards seem impersonal, but they can get exactly what they want or need, so it's less stress. And Diana commented on that. I felt the same way about gift cards. I'm at a loss on what to give because I still feel this way about them. I'm okay for kids because they're kids. They usually love getting money, but brothers and sisters, not sure.
Well, and it's also something like you can get one, physical gift and add a gift card in with it. If it's something that if you're trying to figure out a way to support them while they're struggling, or if you want to supplement their gift because they're adults and you don't want to give them 27 gifts, get them one thing that you think is really special or that they have requested or that that they need, and then add a gift card in for them to go shopping a little bit without you.
Or you could always take one of those family heirlooms that you have cluttering your house you don't want anymore and put a gift card with it and gift it that way.
It's time to gift the family heirlooms to somebody else. There you go. It is a time that you can pass things along for sure. And, if you're going to spend some time online on a Zoom call, maybe part of the call is, hey, look, I have this thing in the house. Does anybody want it? Like you can, the family's going to get together. And so you can show them a few things and see what everybody says about, oh, look, I have the piece of furniture, who's into it? Or, oh, I have this tchotchke that came from mother's house or grandmother's house, and who wants it, and see if somebody wants to claim it. If you do that at Thanksgiving, you mail it to them at Christmas. So off it can go, right?
Right.
I want to give a shout out to Miriam on Facebook. She says, I watch you on YouTube all the time. This is the first time I got to join in real time. Yay for waking up in the
Yay!
middle of the night. I'm wondering if Miriam is one of our Australian
Oh my
viewers.
gosh. Thank you so much if you're doing that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we get a few comments from Australia and people are like, yeah, it comes on at 4 o'clock in the morning here or something. It's like, yeah, you don't really want to join us live for that. But if you've made it live, yay, and thank you. It's always very exciting when people get to join for the first time after they've been watching the videos.
Okay, couple of quick announcements, and then I will come back to you for some final thoughts, Gayle.
Okay.
I want to remind everybody who's with us live that we have a YouTube channel with more than 100 videos on lots and lots of organizing topics. You can go to cfhou.com/YouTube, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and then click the bell icon next to the subscribe button if you'd like to get notifications whenever we post something new. I also should mention that you can hire Gayle even if you are not comfortable with face-to-face meetings at the moment. You can hire Gayle to work with you virtually. Let's hold up that sign.
Okay, virtual is
cfhou.com/virtual.
I do give you an hour time, and because we're in Zoom, you can carry your camera around and show me your space, and we can talk about it. So I can give you some very targeted ideas about what your problem is, what you're struggling with, and hopefully allow you to move forward on your own after we get off the call. And I've had some people out of the country who have used this as an option, and we spend our hour talking about what they're going to do and what they have done, and I make modifications and suggestions, and then they go away and do some more until we get back together again. So it's working pretty well that way.
Our next webcast will be on Tuesday, November 24th at noon U.S. Central Time, live in Zoom and streaming on Facebook. I have to apologize again that we still haven't mapped out our next few topics, and we'll
It's the race to the end of the year.
Yeah, it's that crazy time of year, and
right.
We just have to we have a lot of ideas in the hopper. We are also still working on the garage video we promised you, but it's going to be a little more time yet. Okay, Gayle, your final thoughts?
Okay. The point for this whole conversation is that our needs and our expectations for the holidays change as we get older and get farther away from living with small children. It's important to adjust the instructions for how we want to experience or participate in the season. We're no longer in accumulation mode, and instead we're experiencing more enjoyment of the special parts of the holiday, the shared time with our special people at the top of the list, time to contemplate the mysteries of life, focusing on giving to others. It's a shift that makes sense amid the noise and bustle and stress of this season of the year. I hope you'll do one or two things to enrich your experience and reduce the chaos this time around. Give yourself permission to find the joy again. If you feel discouraged because your family tradition is off limits this year, this is the time to reflect on what makes the season special to you, get a little creative, and maybe start a brand new tradition of your own.
Excellent suggestion. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'd love for you to join us live. To get notifications about upcoming events, we invite you to join the meetup group by visiting cfhou.com/meetup. You can also follow us on Facebook by going to cfhou.com/Facebook or join our mailing list by visiting cfhou.com/subscribe. We love to hear from you, so please send us your questions and topic suggestions in the YouTube comments on Facebook or anywhere else that you find us. There's also a contact form on our website. I never mentioned that, but
right.
That's an easy way to reach us. And you can always reach us through our website at clutterfairyhouston.com.
We are so happy that you join us every week, and we're glad to see you. I hope that you have a wonderful, fabulous, rewarding experience that is a modified Thanksgiving or whatever your gathering family holiday tradition is this year. Not everybody's doing the American version of Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, but for whatever your celebration is, we hope that you find a way to modify it and keep it enriching to you. That's what we hope for, and that you're having an enriching experience instead of having add to your clutter gift receiving. I guess is the best way to say that. All right. Thanks, you guys, for coming. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.